Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Saira Mujtaba, and with me is Vaibhav Srivastava with the evening news. The headlines. Campaigning gains momentum for assembly elections in West Bengal, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry. BJP releases its manifesto for West Bengal. India inches closer to milestone of administering 4.50 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses. In Rajasthan, night curfew to be imposed from tomorrow in 8 cities to contain the recent spike in COVID cases. More than 67.5 million people brought back from around the world under Vande Bharat mission so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch the Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign tomorrow. Environment Minister Prakash Zavadekar says new Nagar Van scheme will help in creation of urban forests in cities. Northern Railways announces 18 pairs of new special trains for convenience of passengers during Holi. Australian authorities declared natural disaster in flood-affected areas of New South Wales. Indian para-athlete Singh Raj wins gold medal in the 2021 Parachuting World Cup in UAE. And in shooting, India wins 2 gold and a silver medal on third day of ISSF World Cup in New Delhi. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Campaigning has gained momentum for assembly elections in West Bengal, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and the Union Territory of Puducherry. Addressing a public rally at Bankura in West Bengal this afternoon, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that BJP believes in skills, whereas the ruling party of the state, TMC, believes in scan.
आपको डबल इंजन की सरकार के रास्ते में आने वाली हर रुकावट को दूर करते चलना है। बीजेपी स्कीम पर चलती है और टीएमसी स्कैम पर चलती है। स्कीम किसी भी सरकार की हो, किसी ने भी लागू की हो, लेकिन टीएमसी स्कैम के लिए कोई न कोई तरीका निकाल लेती है।
Highlighting the scope for development in the district, Mr. Modi assured to implement Jal Jeevan Mission and Ayushman Bharat schemes once the BJP forms the government in the state. Addressing a public meeting at Agra in East Mednipur, senior BJP leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah criticized the TMC government and the earlier Left Front government of Bengal. BJP has released their election manifesto for West Bengal Assembly elections this evening. Releasing the Sankalp Patra at Kolkata, Mr. Shah said that the main aim of BJP is to build Sonar Bangla. He said that if the party comes to power, a decision regarding implementation of CAA will be taken in the first cabinet meeting and no infiltrators will be allowed to enter as fencing at the border will be strengthened. In the manifesto, BJP has promised to reserve 33% government jobs for women and to make education free of cost for women from KG to PG. It said free of cost public transport facilities will also be made available for them. It promises to set up 3 AIIMS at North Bengal, Sundarbans and Jungle Mahal and 1 job for each family in the next 5 years. It also promises to implement the 7th Pay Commission for the state government employees. Tagore Prize in the line of Nobel and Satyajit Ray International Award in the line of Oscar Award will be initiated to bring back the glory of the rich cultural heritage of Bengal.
Union Minister Smriti Irani also took part in campaigning in South 24 Parganas in support of BJP candidates, while Railway Minister Piyush Goyal addressed a rally at Kashipur in Purulia. On the other hand, TMC Chief and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee addressed 3 rallies in East Mednipur, where she criticized her erstwhile close associate, the Adhikari family. Ms. Banerjee alleged that the BJP is privatizing government organizations. She also accused BJP-led NDA government for the rising prices of LPG. Left Front Chairman Biman Basu and their alliance partner ISF leader Abbas Siddiqui addressed a meeting at South 24 Parganas where they accused both the TMC and the BJP for doing politics of appeasement. President of Pradesh Congress Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary addressed two rallies and attended a roadshow in Kharagpur and criticized both TMC and the BJP. With few days left for the election campaigning for the first phase of Assam Assembly elections, political parties are leaving no stone unturned to woo the voters. Both the major political parties, BJP and the Congress, have intensified the campaign in the state. Addressing an election rally at Borakhat today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the BJP-led government is committed for the welfare of the Tea tribe of the state. He will also address a meeting at Bihupuria on the 24th of March. BJP President JP Nadda will also attend 3 public meetings tomorrow. Meanwhile, the General Secretary of Congress Priyanka Gandhi addressed 3 political rallies at Jorhat, Nazira and Khumtai. She will also address 3 political meetings in Upper Assam tomorrow. 47 assembly constituencies in Assam and 30 assembly constituencies of West Bengal will go to the polls on the 27th of this month in the first phase. Assam will be witnessing 3-phase elections while West Bengal will go to the polls in 8 phases this time. In the second phase, polling will be held on the 1st of April in 30 constituencies of West Bengal and 39 seats in Assam. Tomorrow is the last date for withdrawal of candidature for single-phase assembly elections in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and the Union Territory of Puducherry, and the third-phase assembly polls in West Bengal and Assam to be held on the 6th of April. In Kerala, the campaigning is hitting the crescendo for the upcoming assembly elections. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan is touring all over the state campaigning for LDF. Today he participated in various election campaigns in Idukki district. In UDF, the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi will visit the state tomorrow to campaign. For NDA, Union Minister Anurag Thakur visited the state today, and tomorrow Union Minister for Fertilizers and Chemicals Sadanand Gowda will campaign for the front. In Puducherry, 382 nomination papers filed by candidates were found to be valid after scrutiny. Former Chief Minister N. Rangasamy, former ministers Namasivayam, Kandasamy, Shah Jahan, Kamalakannan and many former legislators are in the fray. Counting of votes in the 4 states and the Union Territory will take place on the 2nd of May.
India has inched closer to touch the significant milestone of administering nearly 4 crore 50 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses. Continuing with the administration of over 2 million doses in a single day, more than 25 lakh 40,000 doses were given yesterday. With this, the cumulative vaccination figure in the country has crossed the tally of 4 crore 46 lakh doses. India is one of the fastest countries in the world to achieve these figures in a short span of time. The nation commenced the largest vaccination drive in the world on 16th of January this year with vaccination of healthcare workers. Vaccination of frontline workers began from 2nd of February, whereas the most recent phase began from the 1st of this month, encompassing vaccination of everyone aged above 60 years and above 45 years with specified comorbidities. The Health Ministry has informed that in just 20 days of the current phase, nearly 1 crore 70 lakh senior citizens above 60 years and over 35 lakh people above 45 years with comorbidities have been administered the first shot of the COVID-19 vaccine. The Health Ministry has informed that the COVID-19 recovery rate in the country today stands at 95.96%. It said in the last 24 hours, nearly 23,000 people were discharged after recovery. Till now, over 1 crore 11 lakh people have recovered from the COVID-19 infection. In the last 24 hours, 43,846 new cases were reported. The number of active cases in the country stands at just above the 3 lakh figure, comprising around 2.66% of the total reported cases. The Health Ministry has informed that 197 deaths were also reported in the last 24 hours due to COVID-19, taking the cumulative toll to 1,59,755. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla has tested positive for COVID-19. He was tested positive on Friday. Mr. Birla was admitted to AIIMS COVID Center for observation in New Delhi yesterday. In a statement, AIIMS said Mr. Birla is stable and all his parameters are normal. The government has said that Maharashtra, Punjab, Karnataka, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh are reporting a spike in daily new cases. During the last 24 hours, these states have accounted for more than 77% of the new cases. The Union Health Ministry said Maharashtra reported highest daily new cases at 27,126, followed by Punjab with 2,578, while Kerala reported 2,078 new cases. The ministry said during the last 24 hours, 197 deaths were also reported in the country. 6 states accounted for over 86% of the new deaths. Maharashtra saw the maximum casualties of 92. Punjab had 38 deaths, while Kerala reported 15 casualties. 17 states and UTs have not reported any COVID-19 deaths in the last 24 hours. In Rajasthan, the government has decided to impose night curfew from tomorrow in 8 cities to contain the recent spike in the number of COVID cases. Night curfew will be imposed in Ajmer, Bhilwara, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Kota, Udaipur, Sagwada and Kushalgarh from 11 p.m. to 5 in the morning. Markets will remain closed in all the urban bodies of the state after 10 p.m. tomorrow. The decision was taken in a high-level meeting chaired by Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot. More from our Jaipur correspondent.
Latest RT-PCR negative report of COVID-19 will be mandatory for all passengers coming to Rajasthan from other states from 25th March onwards. Passengers who come without a negative report will be quarantined for 15 days. All district collectors have been instructed to start institutional quarantine centers again in their districts. A maximum of 200 people will be allowed to attend the wedding ceremony and only 20 people can attend the funeral. Primary school in the state will remain closed till further orders. About 100 cases of COVID-19 were being reported daily in the state in first week of March, which has now increased to more than 400. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Kerala confirms 1,875 new COVID cases today. 2,251 people recovered from the infection today in the state. Presently, the total active COVID cases in Kerala is 24,620. 13 recent deaths were also confirmed due to COVID today, taking the death toll in the state to 4,495. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has written to the Chief Secretary of Uttarakhand, strongly highlighting the concerns raised by the high-level central team in its visit to Uttarakhand about the need for stringent measures to control the spread of COVID-19 during the Kumbh Mela. A high-level central team visited Uttarakhand recently to review the medical and public health preparedness measures undertaken by the state for the ongoing Kumbh Mela in Haridwar. The Union Health Secretary has also observed that several states have shown a surge in COVID-19 cases during the past few weeks. Pilgrims expected to visit Haridwar during the Kumbh Mela could also be from these states. The government today said that more than 67.5 million people have been brought back from around the world under the Vande Bharat mission so far. India commenced one of the world's largest evacuation operations from the 7th of May last year to bring back stranded Indians from abroad. Initially, Air India and its subsidiary Air India Express played a key role in the operations. Afterwards, other air carriers were allowed to take part in the program. Besides aerial evacuation, ships were also used to bring back Indian citizens. In a tweet, the Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said, Vande Bharat is not just a mission that brought back stranded and distressed citizens, but it is also a mission of hope and happiness. He added that the mission has let Indian people know that they will not be left behind by their government, even in the most testing times. A total of 8,587 people returned to India yesterday under the Vande Bharat mission. India has crossed a key milestone in universal primary healthcare. The target of operationalizing 70,000 Ayushman Bharat health and wellness centers by the 31st of March has been achieved ahead of the scheduled time. About 41.35 crore people have accessed primary healthcare services at these health and wellness centers. About 54% of them are women. Our correspondent reports that more than 9.45 lakh teleconsultations have been done at these centers.
The launch of Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers in April 2018 marked a watershed moment in India's public health history. A total of 150,000 sub-health centers and primary health centers in urban and rural areas were targeted to be transformed to Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers by 2022. These centers deliver expanded range services that go beyond maternal and child healthcare services. These services include care for non-communicable diseases, palliative and rehabilitative care, oral, eye and ENT care, mental health and first-level care for emergencies and trauma. So far, these centers have conducted 64.4 lakh wellness sessions. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Campaigning gains momentum for assembly elections in West Bengal, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry. BJP releases its manifesto for West Bengal. India inches closer to the milestone of administering 4 crore 50 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses. In Rajasthan, night curfew to be imposed from tomorrow in 8 cities to contain the recent spike in COVID cases. More than 67.5 million people brought back from around the world under Vande Bharat mission so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch the Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign tomorrow. Environment Minister Prakash Zavadekar says new Nagar Van scheme will help in the creation of urban forests in the cities. Northern Railways announces 18 pairs of new special trains for convenience of passengers during the festival of Holi. Australian authorities declare natural disaster in flood-affected areas of New South Wales. Indian para-athlete Singh Raj wins gold medal in the 2021 Para-Shooting World Cup in UAE. And in shooting, India wins 2 gold and a silver medal on the 3rd day of ISSF World Cup in New Delhi. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back. You're listening to the evening news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will virtually launch Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign tomorrow on the occasion of World Water Day. In the presence of the Prime Minister, the signing of the historic Memorandum of Agreement between the Minister of Jal Shakti and the Chief Ministers of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh to implement the Ken-Betwa Link project will also take place. This is the first project of the National Perspective Plan for interlinking of rivers. This project involves transfer of water from the Ken to the Betwa River through the construction of Daudhan Dam and a canal linking the 2 rivers. It will provide annual irrigation of 10.62 lakh hectares, drinking water supply to about 62 lakh people, and also generate 103 megawatt of hydropower. The project will be of immense benefit to the water-starved region of Bundelkhand, especially to the districts of Panna, Tikamgarh, Chhatarpur, Sagar, Damoh, Datia, Vidisha, Shivpuri and Raisen of Madhya Pradesh and Banda, Mahoba, Jhansi and Lalitpur of Uttar Pradesh. It will pave the way for more interlinking of river projects to ensure that scarcity of water does not become an inhibitor in the development of the country. The Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign will be undertaken across the country in both rural and urban areas with the theme Catch the Rain Where It Falls, When It Falls. It will be implemented from tomorrow till the 30th of November, that is during the pre-monsoon and monsoon period in the country. It will be launched as a Jan Andolan to take water conservation at the grassroots level through people's participation. It is intended to nudge all stakeholders to create rainwater harvesting structures suitable to the climatic conditions and subsoil strata to ensure proper storage of rainwater. After the event, Gram Sabhas will be held in all Gram Panchayats of each district except in the pole-bound states to discuss issues related to water and water conservation. Gram Sabhas will also take Jal Shapath for water conservation. President Ramnath Kovind said education and healthcare are two basic pillars of good governance. Apart from education, the entire world has diverted its attention towards a good healthcare system. While inaugurating the Super Speciality Hospital and Ispat Postgraduate Institute at the Rourkela Steel Plant today, the President said the Super Speciality Hospital will not only cater to the needs of the locals, but also people from neighbouring states like Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh will be greatly benefited.
प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने इस्पात जनरल हॉस्पिटल को सुपर स्पेशलिटी अस्पताल के रूप में विकसित करने की योजना हम सबके सामने रखी थी। भारत सरकार से प्राप्त लगभग 300 करोड़ रुपए की राशि के साथ केंद्रीय इस्पात मंत्रालय और सेल के संयुक्त प्रयास से आज यह उन्नत अस्पताल बनकर तैयार हो गया है। एनबीसीसी इंडिया लिमिटेड ने इस आधुनिक अस्पताल का निर्माण लगभग 2 वर्ष में करके दिखाया है। इस उपलब्धि में तथा क्षेत्र के लाखों लोगों के जीवन को संवारने में प्रत्यक्ष अथवा अप्रत्यक्ष योगदान करने वाले सभी संगठनों और लोगों को मैं साधुवाद देता हूं।
Earlier in the morning, the President had delivered the 18th convocation speech at the National Institute of Technology in Rourkela. The President will also visit Lord Jagannath Temple in Puri and Konarak Sun Temple tomorrow. More from our Cuttack correspondent.
President Ramnath Kovind had delivered convocation speech at NIT Rourkela today morning, and in the afternoon he inaugurated Super Speciality Hospital and Ispat Postgraduate Institute at the Rourkela Steel Plant. While inaugurating the Super Speciality Hospital, the President lauded the tireless efforts of the doctors, nurses, extending his gratitude towards the health scientists working in the pharmaceutical laboratories. Mr. Kovind said that India has initiated a largest vaccination program only due to the vigorous efforts of these scientists. India has not only become Atmanirbhar in the development of vaccine, but it has supplied the same to the other countries at free of cost. He said that the pandemic has taught us a lesson that how to develop our healthcare infrastructure. Itish Singh Rathore, AIN News, Cuttack.
Railways will run special trains to clear the rush during upcoming Holi festival. These trains will run on daily, weekly, bi-weekly and tri-weekly basis. Northern Railways has announced 18 pairs of new special trains for the convenience of passengers during the festival of Holi. Passengers will have to follow all COVID-19 related protocols and guidelines during their journey. Northern Railways General Manager Ashutosh Gangal said, in anticipation of a huge rush, the Northern Railways will run 18 pairs of additional trains between March the 21st and March the 31st. He said 18 pairs of Puja special trains have also been extended. NCP President Sharad Pawar has said that the allegations levelled by former Mumbai Police Chief Parambir Singh against Maharashtra's Home Minister Anil Deshmukh require an in-depth probe. Talking to reporters in New Delhi, Mr. Pawar said this is a really important and sensitive case and an in-depth inquiry should be conducted by an officer or an individual who enjoys utmost respect of the police administration and the public at large. He suggested to the Chief Minister of Maharashtra that former Police Chief of Maharashtra, Mr. Julio Francis Ribeiro, should be assigned to investigate the matter. Sharad Pawar said the allegations are made by an authority against Home Minister, and also there are a series of lapses towards confidential information leaked to certain sections of media, which affected the reputation of the government. He said the decision to reinstate police officer Sachin Vaze in service was neither taken by the Chief Minister nor the Home Minister. In Maharashtra, the BJP staged agitations in various parts of the state today against the Uddhav Thackeray-led government after former Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh reportedly named Home Minister Anil Deshmukh in his letter. The protests were staged in Nanded, Buldhana, Sindhudurg and the various parts of the state against the coalition government of Shiv Sena, NCP and the Congress.
Union Environment and Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that the new Nagar Van scheme will help in creation of urban forests in the cities. In a message on the occasion of International Day of Forest today, Mr. Javadekar said the scheme will also fill the gap between the cities and villages in terms of having their own forest cover. He cited India's age-old tradition of developing and caring for village forests in the vicinity of almost every rural patch. Under the Nagar Van scheme, urban forest will be developed in 200 cities in its first phase. The United Nations General Assembly proclaimed 21st of March as the International Day of Forest in 2012. The day celebrates and raises awareness of the importance of all types of forests. Today is the birth anniversary of world-famous Shehnai maestro Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was conferred with national awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Vibhushan for his immense contribution to the field of music. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. A report.
Born in Bihar on March 21, 1916, in a family of court musicians, Ustad Bismillah Khan's musical training started at the age of 3 years under the guidance of his uncle Ali Bakhsh Vilayatu. Khan's contribution in taking Shehnai to a global stage is unparalleled. Bismillah Khan's first big break came with the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938. It was Ustad Qamaruddin Bismillah Khan who also played the Shehnai at the first Republic Day celebration in 1950. Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. With Akash Sinha, Reshma Tiwari, News Desk.
As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, a 3-day Shehnai festival began at Banaras Hindu University campus in Varanasi this evening. Sangeet Natak Academy and the Music and Performing Arts faculty of BHU have come together to organize this musical evening to remember the Shehnai maestro Bharat Ratna Ustad Bismillah Khan.
In Australia, the government has declared a natural disaster in large swathes of New South Wales as heavy rain continues to batter the state. The Australian authorities have also ordered the people in parts of Sydney's northwest to flee their houses in the middle of the night today as heavy rains continue to batter the east coast, triggering floods throughout the region. Authorities issued flooding risk and evacuation warnings in about 12 areas in the state of New South Wales, of which Sydney is the capital, and warned of a potentially life-threatening situation in the region. More than 750 people have been rescued so far. Indian para-athlete Singh Raj won gold medal in the 2021 Para-Shooting World Cup at Al Ain in the UAE today. He defeated Uzbekistan's Server Ibragimov to get the top honor in the P1 men's 10-meter air pistol SH1 final. Singh Raj pipped Rio 2016 bronze medalist Ibragimov by a thin margin of 2.8 points. The final score read 236.8 to 234. Turkey's former Paralympic champion Muharrem Korhan Yamaç took the bronze with 214.4 points. With this, India has moved to the third place in the medals tally. India has now 2 medals in its list, 1 gold and 1 bronze. In shooting, India today won 2 gold and a silver medal on the third day of the ISSF World Cup being held in New Delhi, while the Indian women and men's teams won gold medals in the 10-meter air pistol events. A trio of Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar, Deepak Kumar and Pankaj Kumar won silver in the men's team air rifle event.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Campaigning gains momentum for assembly elections in West Bengal, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry. BJP releases its manifesto for West Bengal. India inches closer to milestone of administering 4.50 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses. In Rajasthan, night curfew to be imposed from tomorrow in 8 cities to contain recent spike in COVID cases. More than 67.5 million people brought back from around the world under Vande Bharat mission so far. Prime Minister Modi to launch the Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign tomorrow. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar says new Nagar Van scheme will help in creation of urban forests in cities. Northern Railways announces 18 pairs of new special trains for convenience of passengers during Holi. Australian authorities declare natural disaster in flood-affected areas of New South Wales. Indian para-athlete Singraj wins gold medal in the 2021 Para-Shooting World Cup in UAE. And in shooting, India wins 2 gold and a silver medal on third day of ISSF World Cup in New Delhi. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.